Shalom, shalom, giving all praises honor, and glory to our power Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rachak, with honors to honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of great millstone, peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and wherever you may be, to you I say, Shalom, Yahshua, Shalom. All right, we're going to get into the next portion of this series here, just recounting all the different famines in the Bible. Okay, like I mentioned, there was a list that I wrote down probably sometime Friday, if I want to say it was Thursday, Friday, I want to say Friday. All right, so biblical accounts of famines. All right, so we're going to start this one. I don't know how many chapters we're going to, let me see, because I got stuff written here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's about 7 chapters dealing with, Joseph's account, and we're going to read them all. Not in this one setting, because I actually want to do another session too. So we can, as we're going through this one, little bit by little bit, we're actually going to another, some other accounts. All right. So, but right now we're going to deal with starting off behind pretty much Joseph's, pretty much his journey in Egypt. Okay. So Genesis 41:1, and it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine and fat-fleshed, and they fed in the middle. All right, so well-favored kine. Oh, I got the wrong word. Hold on. Kine. All right, so cow, heifer, which the heifer would be the female cow. I think there's a difference between the one that has born. There you go, right here. There's the answer. Right. I was about to say there's a difference between the female cows that have born little ones and haven't. All right. So a young female cow that has not born a calf, that's called a heifer. All right. So yeah. So that's So yeah, you understand that. So a heifer. All right. You get them angry black mothers back in the day. All right. Call a girl a heifer. All right. Young girl is a heifer. You don't got a baby yet. So yeah, and cow, I guess cow is straightforward. You don't need to really get it. Wasn't even important that we haven't got the word. A fully grown female animal of a domesticated breed of ox kept to produce milk or beef. All right, so yeah, that's the difference between the cow and the heifer. All right, the heifer is a female that hasn't born, young ones. All right, calves. So, okay, it says they were fat-fleshed. All right, baria, fat, plenteous, firm. Okay. Let's see what the other word says. I mean, straightforward. As a matter of fact, we may read it in like I haven't read this account in a long time, and I haven't read over it now as we're going through it. Maybe we'll just stick with the KJV. All right. So flesh of the body of animals. All right, the body itself. Okay. Basically saying that it was well fed. In this dream, he saw 7 fat, healthy cows come up out of the river and begin grazing in the marsh grass. All right. So this is what he's saying. 7 healthy cows. All right. So gotta follow the dream. Okay. So and they fed in the middle. And behold, 7 other kine, came up after them out of the river, ill favored. All right. So now these sickly looking 7. Okay. Ill favored and lean fleshed, and stood by the other kind upon the brink of the river. So you have the 7 healthy ones, and then you have the 7 ill looking ones. Ill looking ones that came up and stood near the 7 healthy ones. Okay. And the ill favored and lean flesh kind did eat up the 7 well favored and fat kind. So Pharaoh awoke. So this is Pharaoh's dream. He saw 7 healthy cows, all right, popping up. Then he saw 7 extremely emaciated and unhealthy cows pop up. And the 7 unhealthy cows ate the healthy cows. All right. And if you never read this account, okay, then we're going to find out what it is. All right. But otherwise, I'm pretty much preaching to the choir, right? And he slept and dreamed the second time, and behold, 7 ears of corn came up upon the stalk, rank and good. All right, what does the word rank mean? Same word there, fat. All right. So he slept and dreamed the second time. And behold, 7 ears of corn came up upon one stalk. Okay, 7 ears of corn came up on one stalk, ranking good. And behold, 7 thin ears and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. All right. So some crops that were not, crops that were not so good. Shadop. Shadop is the word there. To scorch, blight, scorch of ears of corn. So we can get more out of scorched. Burned by flames or heat. Okay, so that makes sense. All right, lack of water on top of some extreme heat, and you're gonna get a very messed up crop. Okay, so yep. So it says, and behold, 7 thin ears and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. So here's a good set corn he saw, and a bad set of corn. It says, and the 7 thin ears and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. Okay, so first the seven, the good healthy ones sprung up, and afterwards the weakly looking ones sprung up, and the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears, and Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. So you have now Pharaoh having two dreams about the same matter, but in different fashions. All right. First, he saw the cows, healthy and unhealthy. Okay. Fat and emaciated, two different ones. And then he saw the healthy stalk of corns, if that's a word. I'm not sure. Corns. We're gonna say corns anyways. And then he saw you know, uh, the jacked up corns. Okay. And both ate. The jacked up version ate the healthy version. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men thereof. And those Egyptians were some of the highest level people when it comes to magic and stuff like that. All right. And so, of course, Pharaoh had magicians, all right? Even well, actually, I can't even say even that time because Joseph was before then. Okay. Because I was about to mention Moses and that story. That's right after this. Right after Joseph's era, we move into the Moses era. Okay. So, and all the wise men thereof, and Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh. So they didn't know what was going on. He told both the dreams, and none of his magicians who were so-called wise men could tell him what the heck was going on. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, and put me in word in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream in one night. I and he, we dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. Now, this is going into an earlier account when Joseph was jailed. I think he became the head of the jail or something like that. He went up to like he was well favored in the jail. Can't remember exactly because I haven't read that account in a while. But then the butler and the baker were thrown in, and one was deleted because they had dreams that they told Joseph, and Joseph interpreted both dreams. One was deleted, and one was sent back to his position at Pharaoh's house. As you're reading here, see, it says the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker, and we dreamed a dream in one night. I and he, we dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there with us a young man in Hebrew, servant to the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according to his dream he did interpret. And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us, so it was. Me he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. All right, so he's telling them about what happened when they were in jail with Joseph, because what he's doing now is bringing out the name of Joseph, because Joseph was known, all right, to interpret dreams. And that's why you see his name pop up now. Joseph interprets. Then the Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he shaved himself and changed his raiment and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, it is not in me. The Most High shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. Okay? So he let him know that, hey, if I can interpret this dream for you, it's not because any power I had, it's through the Lord. Okay, Yahweh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, in my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river, And behold, there came up out of the river 7 kine, fat fleshed and well favored, and they fed in the meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very ill favored and lean fleshed, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. And the lean and the ill favored kine did eat up the first 7 fat kine. And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them. Okay, but they were still ill favored as at the beginning. So I woke. So this is very important when you get through further the account. All right, because it's going to foreshadow a famine that's going to happen in the land. Okay, so even after all the grain and stuff that was stored up or whatever, people are going to eat, but they're still going to be hungry. All right. And I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk. So he's telling them now the second dream. Same scenario, same account. He just dreamed it in a different way. Full and good. And behold, the 7 ears withered thin and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. And I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it to me. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one. See, the Most High has shewed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7, which goes to show you that the Lord can, have anyone see anything that he wants them to see, okay? Or he can have anyone prophesy and say what he wants them to say. Doesn't, including the heathens, doesn't mean that the Lord is dealing with the heathen, but he can put it on the heathen spirit to say something, all right? That's out of their normal character, okay? Because the Lord is in control of all things, but that doesn't make that heathen special or like the Lord is, about to deliver them or something like that. No, okay? Because the Lord does whatever he wants to do, and he can do it through whoever he wants to do it through. And so he decided to show Pharaoh a vision of a famine coming in the land, all right? Maybe even rightfully so, because he's Pharaoh. And then Joseph was there to interpret, to let him know what this was about, because Pharaoh didn't know what was going on. His men didn't know what was going on. Pharaoh simply had the dreams, the 2 dreams, but the Lord revealed it unto Joseph. The 7 good kine are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. See, the 7 good kine are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. And the 7 thin and ill-favored kine that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. See, so that's why we go into that word scorch and stuff like that. So let's break it down. A good, plenteous time period is about to come on the land of Egypt, but then afterwards, extremely heavy time period, which is the famine. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What God is about to do, he showed unto Pharaoh. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt, and there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine. Following for it shall be very grievous, you see. So he's telling you that, hey, there's about to be 7 years of plenty. But once the 7 years of plenty are up, there's going to be 7 years of a grievous time, okay? And it's going to be so bad, all right, there's going to be no, you're not even going to tell that you had 7 years of good. That's how bad it's going to be. Let's get the word grievous. Kabod. Yeah, we went to that word before. Heavy, great. See, massive. And for that, the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice, you see. It was double because it was just that terrible, all right? And for that, the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by the Most High, and the Most High will shortly bring it to pass. There you go. And the Lord will do that. You'll see it, a lot of times scriptures, he'll mention twice, maybe even 3 times, all right? But if the Lord mentions something twice, okay, how serious is he? Okay, he's definitely serious about what he's saying here through the mouths of one of the prophets, okay? So he says the thing is established by the Most High, and the Most High will shortly bring it to pass. Now, therefore, let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. And let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the city. So the Lord put wisdom upon Joseph to let him know what to do. All right, during the 7 years of plenty. Because if it was up to Pharaoh or his men or them collectively or however the case may be, they probably would have just treated these 7 years that were coming as any other normal day or year as they were doing regularly. And then when the 7 years of famine come, they probably had nothing left. They would probably have whatever was springing up at the time, and that's it. Okay, but even then, there would probably be nothing because they're moving to the 7 years of famine, because at some point, hey, everything is gonna stop. So it says, so he told them what to do. Let them gather all the food of those good years that come and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities, and that food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of all his servants. See, so he was like, you know what? Damn, that's it. Yeah, heck yeah, let's do that. A good idea. Okay. Joseph is made ruler of Egypt. So the whole while, these different accounts that are happening, because Joseph's account goes way back further, starting with his brothers, which he had a dream back then. Okay, I think he had a couple dreams. Okay, starting way back then, and then some of his brothers coming up against him. All right, and he ended up being sold. He ended up in Egypt. Okay, and the Lord maneuvered it because this very same famine here. All right, had the Lord not moved Joseph from his family into Egypt as a slave, he wouldn't be able to make him second in ruler. And that's important because by making him second to Pharaoh is how his family survived, because the same famine hit his family, all right, that thought he was dead, okay? Or his father in particular, okay? Well, yeah, his brothers too. I mean, well, not really his brothers, because they're the ones that sold him, so they didn't really think it was dead. They're the ones that try to pull the wool over his father, which they did. He thought that Joseph was dead, okay? And that's why he was extra protective over Benjamin, because Joseph and Benjamin, all right, were I mean, they're all 12 brothers. They're brothers, but they had different mothers. Joseph and Benjamin were son 11 and son 12. Joseph 11, Benjamin 12, and they two had the same mother. So by Joseph in his father's mind, I'm speaking by way of his father, and from that angle. So Joseph and Benjamin having the same mother, and Joseph being taken away, he only has one son left of this particular wife, which is Benjamin. And Benjamin was the baby boy. So of course he was extra protective over him. So Joseph is made ruler over Egypt, which is named in Hebrew is Yahweh, meaning Yahweh adds. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a one as this? Is a man in whom the Spirit of the Most High is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as the Most High shewed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. So he's basically saying, you're my second in command. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou, because I'm ruler, I'm Pharaoh, okay? But when it comes to wisdom and understanding things and how to do this and that, you're clearly, more wiser than I am. Okay. But you're gonna be second to me. You're not gonna be equal to me or over me. You'll be second to me. All right. So only in the throne will I be greater than you, as king, as Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. That's crazy, man. You're talking about a Hebrew child, or well, a young man, because he wasn't a child at the time, but a young man, okay, who was taken into slavery and then made second over all the land of Egypt. And it's beautiful because, you kind of liken it to us today, okay? Hebrew children, all right, in serving in captivity in the spiritual Egypt, all right? But the Lord has declared that this earth is going to be to his people. He's going to, that his people are going to inherit this earth and all the nations in it, okay? But that's, other topic. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. So he decked him out, and he made him to ride in the second chariot which he had. All right. So, clearly this is showing you that this is a level here, a class thing. All right, you got Pharaoh's chariot, and then you had a second chariot, and Joseph was riding in the second chariot because he is the second in all Egypt. And they cried before him, and bowed the knee, and he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. Okay, let's see what bowed the knee is. H86. Abarak. All right. Wow, it's straight before it says a shout made to announce Joseph's chariot. I've never read that before. That's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy, but you get what I'm saying. A shout made to announce Joseph's chariot. And this is command and bow. All right. Huh. Bow the knee. He made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zephanath Paneah. Okay. And he gave him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Egypt. And in the 7 plenteous years, the earth brought forth by handfuls, right? Plenty, just as was prophesied. And he gathered up all the food of the 7 years which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities, the food of the field, which was round about every city, laid he up in the same. All right, so storing away, just like he said. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea, which goes to show you how much he gathered, right? 7 years straight. Of course, it would be a sea of corn, right? So and Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea, very much, until he left numbering, for it was without number. So at some point, he just lost track of it. He just had to keep stacking up. All right, he couldn't even keep track of how much corn he was storing up. He lost track of the count, but he kept storing. All right, and this is going to something else. The sons of Joseph. Well, I guess we could read it because of the time period. So it says, and unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came. All right, 2 sons before the years of famine. So these sons were born in the 7 years of plenty. All right, which Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, a priest of On, bare unto him. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for the Most High said, He hath made me forget all my toil. Because, yeah, we just talked about Joseph's history. Okay, from his father and his brothers to a slave, and now to second in command over all Egypt and all my father's house. All right. And the name of the second called he Ephraim, for the Most High hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. All right. Which apari means that, well, if I'm correct, fruitful. Double ashy, the doubly fruitful. See? So I think paria is fruit. I'm not gonna look it up. Yeah. It says, in the 7 years of plenteousness that was in the land of Egypt were ended. Okay, so that's the end of the 7 years of plenty. After his sons were born, all right, that was at the very end of the 7 years of plenty, all right, before it. And the 7 years of dearth began. And remember, they got that word, we got the word dearth in that first session, right? Famine, hunger, okay? Hunger of individuals, famine, and land, nation, okay? To be hungry, be voracious, all right? So it began to come according as Joseph had said, and the dearth was in all lands, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread. All right, so this famine was hitting every place all around. Okay, but in Egypt, all right, because Joseph was there to command what to do with all the yield. Okay, there were crops stored up. All right, he says there was bread. Lacham, see food, grain. All right, because lacham is a general word. It can mean bread, but it also means just food in general. And you see it as their grain. It says bread. It says right here, look, food in general. See, food in general, bread, corn. All right, to eat, to use as food. All right. So yeah, and when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread, and Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, Go unto Joseph, what he said to you, do. All right. Yeah, remember he set it up above, right? He said, hey, when it comes to all this wisdom and understanding these things, hey, you got it. But I'll only be greater than you when it comes to the throne because I'm Pharaoh. Okay. So when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, Go unto Joseph, what he said to you, do. Don't, hey, I understand you crying to me, but I'm sending you to Joseph. All right. He's going to tell you what to do. And the famine was over all the face of the earth. And Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians. And the famine waxed sore in the land, all right, of Egypt. All right. It waxed sore. Chazak, which it does mean to strengthen, all right, or strength. Um, Basically saying that this was a, the famine got worse. In other words, to say the least. All right, it waxed sore. Okay, and it's just interesting how the word kazak is there. But the strength of the famine was strong. All right, so it says the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt, and all countries came into Egypt. All countries, okay, came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn because that the famine was so sore in all lands. All right. So yeah, that's the that's the kickoff to what was going on here. The dream, Pharaoh had two separate dreams about the same thing. The Lord put the spirit upon Joseph to not only interpret the dream, which was several years of plenty, several years of famine, but he also put the spirit upon Joseph, all right, to know what to do during the 7 years of plenty. All right. So when the 7 years of famine came, okay, you could deal wisely. But I'll probably call that one session there, all right, because I want to go into some other accounts, and I know there's several chapters, and there's, like I mentioned, I think 7 chapters to cover the whole entire account of the famine, all right, in Egypt, all right. I believe this is the longest account in all the accounts. This is the longest account. Most of them are just a few scriptures, all right. Most of them, I think some of them just really just one scripture where it just mentions the famine, but it really doesn't go into it. But this is an account where it actually mentions the famine and goes into it heavily. And that's why it spans over 7 chapters, because there's a whole history behind this one. All right. So yeah, we'll end this one here, and we'll just come back, whenever the Spirit allows, tomorrow or whenever. All right, to pick up on chapter 42. Okay, so this is the famine during Joseph's time, pretty much part one. So Lord, will you edify? Shalom.